Welcome back to another special report from Signals from the Frontline. You are about to get a once-in-a-lifetime experience, which is Kicker is going to show me the stratagems for 10th edition, and this is the first time I'm seeing them. So I'm gonna give you my immediate hot takes, my immediate reactions. Nick's gonna jump in and give us his thoughts too. But we've not seen these. Kicker's been hoarding the information. Kicker, hit us. What do we got?
Guys. So Seth, Nicky D, guys, we got to explain that there are some universal strats that any army can use in 10th edition. These are in the core rulebook. They're not attached to any particular army, kind of like in 9th edition, except there's a lot more. And some of them will cover a lot of the strats you may be familiar with that were army specific. So let's start off first with the one you know and you love, command reroll. That's not changing. Right. We're not going to go into the details here. Okay. You know it, you love it. It's a thing.
That's fine. I mean, I waste too much CP on it anyway, so I wish it went away, but whatever.
Same here.
Nicky, are you a command reroller? Do you
I am, and I shouldn't be.
I don't want to be either, but you know what? These things happen.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, another longtime favorite. We've got counter offensive. This is the one where in the fight phase, just after an enemy unit is fought, you basically get to swing back. This is once again 2 CP, right? 2 CP. So it's not cheap.
Yeah, that we're going to talk about that more than in one of the later videos, but that's a lot of CP.
Yeah. So let's get to the really exciting one here, though. Epic challenge. When this happens is in when this happens in the fight phase when a character unit from your army that is within engagement range of one or more attached units is selected to fight. It targets one character model in your unit. The effect: until the end of the phase, all melee attacks made by that model have the precision ability. Now, precision is one of those universal special rules. Do you know what precision means, Seth?
Yeah, so the wounds that character generates from its attacks can be allocated to another character that's attached to a unit.
Exactly. So it's stereotypically the sniper rule.
Like sniper, but with a sword.
Exactly. It's sniping with your sword, which is kind of cool. So your character can now basically target another person's character in combat, which is kind of cool. Nicky D, I know you're a close combat fanatic. Well, I guess Seth is a close combat fanatic too. But what do you think?
Yeah, we got a Blood Angels player here and an Orc player, and then a Kicker. You're here with the Guard, which are famously not interested in close combat. Rough Riders aside, sure. I actually like this. You know what it reminds me of a lot? It reminds me of the old, in a way, challenge rule from Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which was one of my absolute favorites.
They had challenges in like 6th and 7th edition as well.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. So I like that. I like
this doesn't have to be a fantasy podcast.
I know. No, but I love having, you want to have your characters stand off against each other. That's the cinematic moment in a movie or, in a TV show. So I actually like that element being brought in, and it adds, I think, another strategic element into the game. Which activations do you go with if there is going to be potentially a character with precision strikes coming at your character? So I love that.
Good point. And I should just explain, this is 1 CP only, right? So it's price to move, right? I mean, you can take advantage of this all the time you want. Epic challenge, 1 CP, basically get to snipe a character in combat. Woohoo! All right, guys, another strat it's an oldie but a goodie. Insane bravery. This is basically you get to force pass a battle shock here, and so it's good. You're about to fail morale.
How many CP is it?
It is only 1 CP, while previously
that's a change. It was 2 in 9th edition, so that got cheaper. Kicker, important question. I've learned a bit from reading some of these 10th edition rules. When do you do that? When do you use the stratagem?
So in all these strats, it says when they take effect, it says the target, and it says what the effect is. This takes place
that makes it very clean, by the way. I like that. Good job.
Very clean, very simple to read. You can't screw it up. When this takes place, battle shock step of your command phase just after you fail the battle shock test.
After. You're sure it said after?
After.
That's huge, because that's also a change. 9th edition was I have to use Insane Bravery before. If it's after, I can literally roll the dice, see if I get lucky. If I don't get lucky and I need that unit to hold an objective, I'm going to spend that. One more question, Kicker.
It's only 1 CP. 1 CP.
Well, you said it was 1 CP. Insane Bravery in 9th edition was once per game. Is this once per game?
I cannot see anywhere on here where it says it's not, where it's limited. So it looks like you can use it once per phase.
Nicky, you and I were talking about how we were a command reroll guy. Oh, yeah. I might become an Insane Bravery guy after this.
Not opposed. I mean, especially now with the battle shock impacting whether or not you hold an objective, that could be the new save one command point every single time. Exactly.
I think put that in the bank and save it. You know, guys. just off of what we've seen so far, it looks like a lot of battle shock tests can be forced upon you, pretty easily. We know the NIDS can do something like that. So yeah, this could be something that could be the most powerful of strats. But we got more. This one's kind of cool. This is called Grenade. For 1 CP in your shooting phase, you target 1 grenades unit. So you have to have the keyword grenades unit from your army that is not within engagement range of enemy units and has not been selected to shoot this phase. The effect: select 1 enemy unit that is not within engagement range of any units from your army and is within 8 inches invisible to your grenades unit. Roll 6 d6, and for each 4-up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So we're talking basically,
I like it. If you got to chip away on something. I like that it's not
6d6. That looks like it could be on average 3 mortal wounds, which is legit.
And I like that it's not based off the number of models in the target unit. So like I maybe almost have like a dreadnought down to 1 or 2 wounds, and the strat's not roll 1 die per model. It's rolling 6 dice every time. Yeah. So I think that makes it more reliable to kind of chip down on those bigger, tougher targets.
Yeah.
Or clean up those little bit of units. So yeah, I like it.
And it looks like it could work on, you're attacking a tank, you're attacking a monster, attacking infantry. I like that.
I like it.
Theoretically, even a flyer unit. Theoretically, I guess.
All right, this is my grenade now.
Yeah,
this is my 30-foot tape measure, and I'm just gonna chuck it up at that
right in there. Question though, this is a question. I'm not sure if that unit can still then fire its normal guns.
When do you use the strat?
You use this in your shooting phase, but it doesn't say like instead of firing, it just says.
It doesn't say it's a shooting attack. It's just in your shooting phase, you use this. Yeah. So I would think you'd be able to use the rest of your guns.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. I'm liking that.
Seems strong.
Yeah. I like it.
1 CP?
Right. 1 CP.
Yeah, okay. I'm a grenade and a insane bravery guy.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if you noticed, but some of the units they've showed already on Warcom don't have grenades as part of their war gear. It's just a keyword, like my Cadians. They no longer have grenades, but they are keyworded. All right, this one I'm very excited about. You guys know I like my guard and I like my tanks. This is Tank Shock for 1 CP. In your charge phase, you target 1 vehicle unit from your army. The effect: until the end of the phase, after your unit ends a charge move, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of it. Then select 1 melee weapon your unit is equipped with. Roll a number of d6 equal to this weapon strength characteristic. If that strength characteristic is greater than that enemy unit's toughness characteristic, roll 2 additional d6. For each 5-up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. That's a lot of words, but basically you run your vehicles into the enemy and you do mortal wounds. But it's worded, it's worded in a way that like a toughness, like a Bane Blade is going to be likely to do way more damage to an infantry unit than, say, a Chimera, because it's bigger, it's meaner, it's higher toughness.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, like Guard already have something very similar to this. It's nice that now I'm sure, Space Marines or hell, even your Orc trucks are going to be able to probably do something like this too, Seth, which should be, any vehicle unit. So yeah. 1 vehicle unit. So you'll be able to do this too, Seth. You'll be able to ram in with your trucks and then, charge out with all your boys. Cool.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Okay.
All right. This is the one that's been, and once again, 1 CP for that. That's so cheap. Okay. Yeah. Rapid Ingress.
Well, it's cheap relatively. We're going to talk about it later.
It's cheap relative. Okay. Fair enough. But still, like, this is something like Tank Shock. Like, it just seems like you can just do this so easily and do 6 mortal wounds easily. So, Rapid Ingress.
We've seen this one.
Do you want to take it, Seth? Do you have a rough idea what it's about?
It's basically when your opponent's move phase, you can deep strike a unit.
Yep, that's basically what it is.
It's very, very strong, strong. So, but we've seen that on Warcom. So
it's 1 CP though. Once again, another,
I mean, we knew that.
And you know who's going to love this? Nicky D's going to love this, right? He's going to be able to get he's got all his jump pack troopers going to be showing up all over the place. It's going to be finicky though, right? I mean, when do you see yourself using this, Nicky D?
I think it's a big threat.
Yeah, it's definitely an item where it's going to force players to screen, right? You got to have some screens there, because if you're not being careful, next thing you know, it's going to be Blood Angel, Sanguinary Guard, jump packs that are in there. Obviously my Blood Angels love doing that, but there's a lot of other armies that will too as well. So I do like that it has some counterplay, and I'm really interested to see how players are going to react and interact with that stratagem as we get to playing 10th edition.
Cool. Seth, I think that this is one you're going to hate, but it's just going to be a thing, man. Deal with it. I know you orcs just like to run recklessly into people. Well, Fire Overwatch has changed significantly. This happens in your movements, in your opponent's movement or charge phase. So important, in your opponent's movement phase, not just the charge phase. Just after an enemy unit is set up, or when an enemy unit starts or ends a normal advance or fall back or charge move. You target one unit from that army that is within 24 inches of that enemy unit that would be eligible to shoot if it was in your shooting phase. The effect, you can shoot them as if it was your shooting phase. Pretty simple. The same thing though. You roll a 6 to a hit, so it's still hitting on 6s.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah. So the restrictions. So they have the little restrictions here because this one does have a restriction. A lot of these don't have restrictions. This one is you're hitting on 6s regardless of any sort of modifier. But yeah, I mean, in your opponent's movement phase, so you don't even have to charge.
Are there any other restrictions?
All right, I'll read the restrictions verbatim. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a range attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 is required to score a hit, irrespective of the attacking weapon's ballistic skill or any modifier. You can only use a stratagem once per turn. Turn is important. So you can't.
That's what I was looking for. Because I was like, if it wasn't once per turn, you could just be like, I'm gonna overwatch you in movement. I'm gonna overwatch you in charge.
Yeah,
and then my unit gets shot twice, and I'm a sad band.
Yeah. Good call, Seth. It was a good call to check that out. Yes, so only once per turn, but still, man, like if you have no intention of charging, you can still get blasted, which is not pleasant.
But hitting on 6s, I mean, but I'm sure there's some units that are gonna have volume of fire enough.
Those flamethrower things, the new Space Marine flamethrower.
24 inches though.
But
I could say 12.1 away.
You'd say 12.1. You could say 12.1, but
But you are putting out a zone of 12
Don't
inches.
come here. Yeah. You can control an objective suddenly, further away and stuff. Or
that's a good point. Okay. All right.
Go to ground. Right. This is 1 CP. When your opponent's this happens in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target. So after they selected their targets, then you target one infantry unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking units' attacks. Mm-hmm. The effect, until the end of the phase, all models in your unit have a 6-up invulnerable save and have the benefit of cover. So you get the benefit of cover and a 6-up invulnerable. That's nice.
Right, so yeah, +1 to their armor save, 6-up invulnerable. Go to ground was a rule previously in some of the older editions, so I'm glad to see it come back.
Yeah. I like it. This one is very familiar to me, and I'm sure it's familiar to a lot of Imperial armies. And I don't even maybe Orc Commandos have this. I don't know. Basically, smoke grenade or smoke screen is the actual term. Smoke screen for 1 CP. You do this in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. You target one smoke unit, so smoke is the keyword here, from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. The effect, until the end of the phase, all models in your unit have the benefit of cover. And wait for it, and stealth.
Which is -1 to be hit and shooting.
Yes. So you're going to get +1 to your cover save and -1 to hit.
I like that. I like that double up. It's a good double up.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. And for 1 CP.
And you can't stack that and go to ground because you can only get the benefit of cover once.
Yeah. So I have to ask, I know that Guard have basically this strat, smoke launchers. Do orcs have something similar?
There's something similar for like speed freak vehicles to give a -1 to hit.
Yeah. What about Nicky D? Doesn't Death Guard have something like this? Or there's a -1 to hit kind of equivalent, right?
-1 to hit power for Death Guard, yeah. And then some of the other armies have ways to either get cover when they shouldn't necessarily, but this is a more broad application, which I think really gives everybody a chance to do it. So I'm interested to see how it's going to impact some of the armies that typically don't have access to such a benefit.
But it does make sense that so many armies that have something like this, at least it's just clearly stated, it's smokescreen. You know what it is. It's not this complicated thing. I like that it's this nice, user-friendly, very obvious strat. And finally, the last strat, and the one that caught me most off guard. And remember, guys, these strats go for all armies. Anyone can use them. Mm-hmm. Heroic Intervention.
That's a strat, not a core rule kicker.
That is a strat. Not a core rule, which means any army can do this. Let's for 2 CP, you do this in your opponent's charge phase just after an enemy unit ends a charge move. The target is one unit from your army that is within 6 inches of that enemy unit and would be eligible to declare a charge against that enemy unit if it was your charge phase. The effect is your unit now declares a charge against that target only, but can only target that enemy unit, and you resolve that charge as if it was your charge phase. Restrictions, because this is really important. Restrictions. You can only select a vehicle unit from your army that is a walker. Those are the keywords used there. And note that even if this charge is successful, your unit does not receive any charge bonus this turn.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
That would have been crazy.
What do you think? What do you guys think? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it's really strong that any unit can do it that's not a non-walker vehicle. And it's a 6-inch bubble, so that's
6
really
inches.
I was for a second thinking, man, if I could charge in your turn and charge conveys fight first, and now the fight phases, each step, the person whose turn it's not is activates first. I was like, man, I can heroic intervene and punch your unit before you get the punch. That'd have been crazy strong, but
Insane.
this is a bit better. Okay, that's a bit better.
And it is 2 CP, so it's not
Yeah.
So
That's a big
yes,
resource.
anything can do it, but you got to have 2 CP for it. Nicky D, what do you think? I mean, this is close combat at its finest.
Yes, a lot to take in here. The part that grabs my attention is that unit using the stratagem, they need to make a charge on 2d6.
Correct.
So they need to make you're spending 2 command points, and it's not a given either. So there are absolutely possibilities where you are spending 2 command points and you roll a 2 and a 3. You only 5 inches, and you're not making that heroic intervention.
Good
So
point.
What about, well, if it's within 6 inches and you roll a 5, you would make it.
You would make it. So,
but you can always you can always roll.
But I'm just saying.
Eyes.
I mean, you basically have to roll 5 up, which is doable.
It is doable, but
I mean, I've never
all failed those
rolled below
charges that
5.
were stupid close.
No,
right?
I never rolled below 5 kicker. Never.
never rolls before 5. So it is interesting because it is a 2 CP strat. Unlike previous heroic interventions, which was a guaranteed move, this is not a guaranteed move. You don't really know. You'll move your 2d6 and hopefully get your charge in. So okay, guys, what do you think is the most powerful strat out of the ones we've discussed, or the most interesting one, the one to watch out? I know we're talking about being a CP reroll guy or not.
I think insane bravery. Bravery, the insane bravery strat. I think that was a huge change.
Insane bravery. Nicky D, what do you think?
I mean, just a personal favorite, Tank Shock. For folks that have played 40K before, Tank Shock, I mean, these are big tanks, vehicles rolling around on the battlefield. They should be able to do a little bit more than just, nudge somebody with their tank treads. So that's one where, when you need to get a few mortal wounds or, clear away, I actually really like that. It's not one that you're going to use every game, but I think it's going to be one for the right generals in the right time. It's going to be a trusty and handy stratagem.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta say, guys, for me, it's the grenade. I just like the idea of some like basic old infantry being able to throw some mortal wounds out. Easily being able to throw at least 2-3 mortal wounds out. Like that's great. I love that.
I'm rolling 4 or 5 5-ups every time.
I need to roll like you, man. Cool. Well, Seth, where are we going next?
Next, I think we're going to be talking about some missions, but let us know in the comments below what you think the best stratagem was. What do you think the strongest is? What are you most excited to try out? But don't forget to check out our other videos. We have our general reactions. We've got our live reactions to these bits for Nick and I, and then we'll be talking about our top 10 changes real soon. So see y'all then.